This is Paris. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about going ethical. I did an earlier video on House of Paris, going ethical, and going more into sustainable, responsible fashion. And I got an interesting question from a viewer asking me to explain a little bit about what that means. What is going ethical? So, going ethical really means that more attention is paid to the environmental impact of the material that is used in designing. So that's the cotton that is produced, linen, bamboo, whatever it is that is being produced to make the clothing that you're wearing, is putting a little thought into how it's made and who made it and what impact having it made has on the environment. So it goes into environmental consciousness and carbon footprint and also the human impact. So let's break it down a little bit further. um, what is the human impact? Human impact is thinking about the person or the people who grew your cotton or the bamboo. Are they paid enough? What conditions are they working under? Are they fair conditions? Do they get reasonable hours? Do they get time off? Are they treated humanely? That is the human impact. The people who make the clothes, when they come in as raw material, their hours in the factory, their wages as well. And so the whole way through the supply chain, the process that your clothing goes through before it lands in the store that you buy it from. That's the environmental, that is the human impact. So if you are going to be a responsible designer, from a designer's point of view, you want to look into where your raw material is coming from, where your fabric is coming from, and how it was made, and how the people were treated when they were making it. The environmental responsibility is making sure that you know how impactful the fabric or material that you are using is on the environment. So now moving away from the actual people, the human impact, we're talking about what the actual cotton, we'll stick to cotton as an example, what the cost is of creating that cotton or producing that cotton is on the environment. So sometimes you will have a situation where you think, oh, you know, cotton is natural, so it's renewable and it will biodegrade, and so therefore it is sustainable. That's not enough to use a natural product that is biodegradable. What you also want to look at is the fact that when cotton is being grown, it needs pesticides to get rid of all those little nits that go in there, living creatures that go in there. And so to create a great harvest of cotton, sometimes you have to use a lot of pesticides or fertilizers and certain substances that will affect the earth. So it will seep, if your pesticides are toxic or your fertilizers are toxic, for example, it will seep into the soil, and that will toxify the soil and will toxify the water, and so that damages the environment. So that is something that we need to think about when we're going ethical. Another thing that is considered is the speed at which products are being made. So because we are a fast-paced, we have a fast-paced lifestyle, we want things very, very quickly. If a piece of clothing or a design is shown on the runway today, we want to buy it tomorrow. And so what does that really mean? That means that people are working through the night to produce that piece of clothing that you saw yesterday so that you can buy it the next day. And that means that they will not have enough sleep. That will impact their lifestyle and their health. And also it means that we're cutting corners on how quickly we get the raw material, which means we need to put in a lot more fertilizers and pesticides so that our cotton grows as quickly as possible so that we can have it in the store as quickly as possible. So this is the dilemma that exists. We have ethical versus fast. Now that does branch off a little bit into how we deal with slow fashion and going ethical and how that works against fast fashion, which is another topic I will discuss in another video. But when you discuss ethical fashion and sustainability, it is inevitable that you think about the trends and the ways in which we shop and how quickly we want things instantaneously and immediately, and so that impacts the environment. Yeah, wanting things quickly is not a good thing for the environment. So that is something that we need to consider when we're talking about sustainability. It can go in depth and go further into things to consider when you're talking about ethical fashion. But as a consumer, you don't need to worry about, oh, well, how do I know if what I've bought is ethical and if I'm doing the right thing for the environment when I go shopping. The good thing is you do not have to walk into a store and say, well, who made it? How do they make it? Are they okay? Do they get paid? And do they get enough rest? Do they get vacation? And what kind of pesticide? And now you have to look up the name of the pesticide, and does it, you don't have to do all that. There are foundations and committees, and there are groups and scientists and people who are involved in making sure that the research is done on what goes out on the market. And granted, not every designer, manufacturer, producer follows the ethical route yet. I'm sure people will join in the bandwagon, but if you want to be sure that what you are buying is ethical, you will need to look at the tag and ask specific questions. Not the questions of what kind of fertilizer did you use, but can I see a certified, not document, a certified tag on your clothing that says that what you have bought is ethical, or if it's made out of ethical cotton or ethical bamboo or whatever it is, the fabric that is made out of. It should have a certified tag on it, and that will tell you that you are buying something that's completely ethical, and you don't have to go around asking the difficult questions in every store that you go. So try it out, walk into a store, ask for something that is sustainable, that is ethical, and try and choose the ethical option as opposed to the non-ethical option. And that also helps the stores realize that consumers, such as yourself, who are savvy and are forward-thinking and are considering the impact on the environment, are starting to ask the right questions, and it will force them to start stocking ethical fashion. So I hope that was a little bit helpful. I welcome all your questions. I hope I can answer as many as I can, as accurately as I can, but please don't hesitate to ask, and I will address as many as I can. Okay, I hope to see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.